Yeah, and you're talking about settlement and trade in a massive way. I mean, this is, are you worried about hacking? Are you worried about people breaking in? Because this is one of the big concerns people still have in terms of being copied, hacked, or banned. I mean, some people I know have had their Coinbase accounts hacked and take Bitcoin stripped from them, right, along the way. So,
well, I mean,
and there's no central bank protecting you here.
Bitcoin's the most secure database, secure network in the world, and in the first 1, 2, 3, 4 years, you couldn't be sure, but after 12 years, it has not been hacked. The risk, the cybersecurity risk, is at the layer 2 level with Bitcoin banks.
Yep.
Square is a Bitcoin bank. Coinbase is a Bitcoin bank. Mt. Gox was a Bitcoin bank. So there'll be 100,000 of these mobile apps and websites sitting on top of the underlying Bitcoin. They all have their own attack surfaces, and they range from simple password on a web browser down to like triple factor authentication hardware wallets. And you'll see all of those things. I think if you're a user of Bitcoin, you have to just very carefully decide what kind of Bitcoin bank do you want to deal with. And look, you could buy Grayscale Trust, GBTC, and you own some Bitcoin exposure, and you don't really have the hacking concern. Right. Or you can go the opposite extreme, and you can memorize a 24-phrase seed key in your head, and you might forget phrase 23.
I lost a few.
And then you lose it. So
I lost a few, Michael. I have a few on some old Macs. I'm trying to figure out how to crack. I've lost a few Bitcoins. Like they were like $100 when I bought them. I'm like going nuts.
I tend to think sometimes, you're a bigger risk to yourself than the bank is.
Definitely.
Yes,
I think you might find that people will fall in love with the idea that like Apple gives you multi-signature with the iPhone, the Apple Watch, the biometric secure element in the cloud, and they might get comfortable with something like that. It remains to be seen who's going to win the war. What you've got is Fidelity competing with Coinbase, competing with Square, competing with Trezor, competing with Ledger, competing with memorize the stuff in your head.
And finance,
And that's the market. And that's all fair, and it's fine. Yeah. And the market will decide. And by the way, it's not even that there's one right answer, because if you're Mass Mutual and you want to buy $1 billion of Bitcoin, you're not putting it on a Trezor or whatever.
No.
You don't have the ability. So there are flavors of money, and everybody's going to take a different approach to put their money into this asset space.
Makes sense. Last week, I saw Jim Cramer tweet, "Pay me in Bitcoin." Almost daily, I see professional athletes, NFL, NBA, pay me in Bitcoin. You just announced, I think a week ago, that your board of directors are going to get paid in Bitcoin. Do you think companies are going to adopt whether it's 401 contribution or a mix of restricted stock options and getting paid in Bitcoin? Will companies, in order to attract talent, offer payments and compensation with cryptocurrencies? And how was that conversation with your board when you told them? They must have been all clapping and high-fiving when you said that.
Well, the whole idea is Bitcoin is a savings account. It's a bank in cyberspace offering a simple, secure savings account. And that savings account has been yielding 200% tax-free interest for a decade, and this year it's doing more. So it's a good way to save money. The board was excited about it. If I have $200,000 in cash and I convert it to Bitcoin, if it goes up 20, 30, 40% a year, I mean, if it went up 1/10 of what it's been going up, it's still a million times better than my alternative of sitting in a bank savings account. Our employees are very enthusiastic about this. The next step for us is to roll out Bitcoin on-ramps and Bitcoin savings options for all of our employees. I think you're going to see an explosion of that. Everyone offering 401k savings plans and employee savings account. It's like the employee stock program for the decade. If I wanted to diversify, I can put my money into the company stock, but I would like to put my money into a thermodynamically sound money that's going to be appreciating. It's just a good retirement idea. And so it's a big opportunity, right? I think you're going to see an explosion in those finance products from insurance companies and fund companies and the like over the next 12 months.
I agree.
Well, hey, I'm going to take us out a little bit out from the Bitcoin conversation, talk a little bit about what you've been doing at MicroStrategy. There's been a lot of transformation going on there. Let's spend a little bit of time talking about what's happened with your clients, what people are doing, hypercards, intelligence, enterprises, and other areas. Let's jump in there for a second.
Okay. Well, there's an acceleration toward complete digital relationships. So we're doing, our tech support online instantly using Zoom. We have digitized all of our services and all of our education, and we've uploaded to our website so people can get the answer in a higher velocity. We have accelerated our development of cloud-based products. So Hyper now is an example of hyper intelligence delivered in the cloud, so that someone in Singapore on Saturday afternoon could show up to our website and launch their own pilot and build a hypercard application, plug it into their website, and deploy it by Sunday without talking to a human being. Intel now is our next really cool cloud offering, where we'll make it possible for someone to build a fully featured business intelligence application in an afternoon without talking to a human being. I think the general theme here, Ray, is just take the friction out of the value proposition. Like, nobody wants to meet with you. They don't want to schedule something 2 weeks in advance. They almost don't even want to call you on the phone. It's like, I want to plug this into the Google BigQuery, and so I didn't know how. So I want to see a video for 7 minutes, and then I want to click on it, and I want it to work, and then I want to deploy it. And then 30 days after I deploy it, then a salesperson may call me and we'll negotiate what discount I get off of, we say it's $10 a month a user. And the idea is the company shows up, they know they can deploy it, they build it, and then like 2 months later, they're beating us up to get like 30% off of the $10 a month a user. But that's like the only engagement they really want when I ask for the discount or the 3-year license or the something. Otherwise, they already know it works and they've already deployed it, right? That's super fast, and that's the value proposition people want in the virtual era.